Trump, you are known for your terrible haircut, and now
gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this?
In the first clip, Trump explains why men should be banned from women's sports.
Or the weightlifter. I think it was like 218 pounds. I know, that's a lot. I can't lift it. I don't know who can. 218 pounds, and she got over that weight, and she was going to break it. And her mother and father are screaming, "You got it! You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl." Well, she couldn't do it. And then this guy comes along. He's named Alice. And he looks at the weight. World record, world record. We could have put another couple of 100 pounds on. I think he would have lifted it. It's so disrespectful to women. And they say it's politically incorrect. It's so disrespectful to women.
The fact that some people hate this guy is just crazy, but the fact that men are still allowed to compete against women is even crazier. Hopefully, Trump will be able to figure that out when he comes in office. I know he will.
One of the loopholes he took advantage of when he claimed $1 billion loss that enabled him to avoid paying taxes.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. I pay tremendous numbers of taxes. I absolutely used it. And so did Warren Buffett, and so did George Soros, and so did many of the other people that Hillary is getting money from. She complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. And I do. You have provisions in the tax code that frankly we could change, but you wouldn't change it because all of these people give you the money so you can take negative ads on Donald Trump.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
As Trump pointed out himself, if Hillary hates the tax code so much, why didn't she change it when she was senator? Pathetic behavior.
Illegal immigrants are causing tremendous crime. Tremendous.
Immigrants commit less crime than U.S.-born citizens.
What?
Illegal immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm an immigrant. You're an immigrant. We're all immigrants.
The Pew Research says that there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead. You're a very naive person.
Very good research and preparation. Nah, for real, if they want to have a real debate with Mr. Trump, at least come with some actual questions that they have researched beforehand. Cringe.
You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
It's actually ridiculous why almost all media corporations are biased against Trump. I honestly have no idea why. Maybe someone can help in the comments. It's like, even with all the good things he does, they always nitpick random stupid things he did in the past.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this?
Like, this is the man the media demonizes? He tries keeping kids safe from things that can have serious consequences for their life in the future, yet the media paints him as the devil. Crazy.
Are you ready for some tough questions?
You're going to be fair.
I'm going to be fair.
Just be fair.
But you're okay with some tough questions?
No, I'm not. You don't ask Biden tough questions. Are you ready for tough questions?
Are you?
That's no way to talk. I think we have enough of an interview here. I'll see you in a little while. Thanks.
Be careful.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate. I have great love for all of the people from our country, but as you know, China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen, not as long as I'm president. It comes from China.
Yeah, just as the Spanish flu was called the Spanish flu, the Chinese virus is going to be named the Chinese virus. Simple.
President, overall, South Korea has done 5 times more tests than the U.S. per capita. Why is that?
I don't think that's true.
That is true. And you said this morning that the White House said the U.S. passes South Korea in virus testing.
Who are you with?
Yahoo News. And it's not true per capita.
Do you want to respond to that? If you have the numbers.
Sure, I have the numbers. South Korea's testing was 11 per 100,000, and we're at 17 per 100,000.
So, are you going to apologize, Yahoo? That's why you're Yahoo, and nobody knows who the hell you are. Go ahead. Let's
Based
go,
on the
Jeff.
numbers I've seen,
that's why nobody knows who you are, including me. Go ahead.
Mr. President, just check it again.
Yeah, you know it's getting bad when you have to pull up fake data in order to pull down Trump. Luckily, Trump and his team had the real data right on their hands to defend themselves.
I want to get paid the same as a man, and I think you understand that. So, if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man, and do I get to choose what I do with my body?
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job.
Exactly. How much you make is reflected by the value your work creates. You don't just get paid depending on your gender.
On so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their...
Donald Trump is said to make historical return to power. Did you know that Donald Trump is the first former president to be re-elected to the White House in more than 130 years? Continue watching CTV.
Physical appearance and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly.
President Trump has also said that any hospital or health care provider that performs gender-affirming surgeries or care to minors would no longer meet federal health and safety standards and will no longer receive funding from the federal government.
Hospital or health care provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent.
Thank you for watching CTV. Stick to us for more important news. Bye for now.